Welcome to Grapes and Debates, a podcast where we'll uncork some incredible wine and debate varietals of issues within the restaurant industry, one glass at a time. And now, your hosts and owners of SoNapa Grille, Adam Barringer, Chris Botting, and Joe Bates.
Buttons on.
The button's pushed.
The buttons are pushed.
Cameras are charged.
Cameras are charged.
View on lock.
View.
Dialed that in.
Dialed in. Yeah.
Sunny morning in Northern California.
Wine country.
Dialed that in.
Wine country.
Yeah. Well, good morning.
Cheers. How's that first sip?
Yeah, refreshing always.
Oh,
Lets you know
yeah.
lets you know what kind of day you're heading into.
You know we're an hour behind.
Our normal first sip?
Our normal
Yeah,
first sip.
yeah. It's been starting at 10 a.m.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Christopher.
Steve. Bring it in.
Woo! Well, here, first cheers of the day.
Cheers. You know why? Because wine is meant to be enjoyed together.
It is.
I agree.
I really think that. I mean, I enjoy it by myself, but I enjoy drinking wine when I'm hanging out, socializing.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I
It's like
believe
it's more.
I don't know for sure because somewhere along the way, being out here for so long, I've lost track. But this could be episode 60.
Wow.
That's monumental.
Yeah. Listen,
Monumental.
we've got a lot of reels in the can.
Lot of,
We do. We do.
yeah. That means 60 straight weeks of enjoying wine together.
Yeah. I think we've got it now.
I do think
The
we've got
enjoying
it.
wine piece.
Right.
I think we've got that on. Yeah.
So right now we're coming to you live. For those of you that are listening, and you may not be watching this, and even if you're watching this, you're like, where the fuck are you guys? We are at 13502 Chalk Hill Road in Healdsburg. We are 3.4 miles from Chalk Hill Winery and Roth, and 1.4 miles from Lancaster.
And
Yeah.
maybe 2 glasses from a really good time.
And two. All right,
1.5 now. 1.5.
I haven't even had my first sip. Here I go. Chris.
So those wineries you mentioned that we're close to are all Foley family.
All Foley family, and
Which the first part of our trip kind of focused around that.
first part of our trip focused on Foley family. In fact, Chris, you and I are sipping on a Silverado Sauv Blanc, and this is Allison Rodriguez's first. It might be her second vintage now.
Okay.
And I really like this. Great way to start out the day.
And a recent addition to their portfolio, right? Foley family?
No, Silverado.
Well,
Silverado.
It's probably one of the newest purchases they made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was the first part of the trip. And the second part of the trip, we're visiting wineries that we have maybe done a lot of business with, wineries we're looking to do business with, and I think that we've had some pretty amazing tastings. And we'll start with the first one, Pride Mountain. The minute, after you guys got here, we had one tasting lined up, Pride Mountain, and we got to see Jay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
I hadn't met him before. Super nice guy. And he's actually been back to New Smyrna and in the restaurant, right?
He's been, yes. And we hosted a New Smyrna Wine and Food Festival, and he came down and he did a Pride wine dinner for us. But
the
just
Brandon
so
Center,
awesome, in that on the top of Spring Mountain.
2,200 feet.
Yeah. And then one half of in Sonoma, one half in Napa. They have to have separate books, separate accounting,
Separate watersheds.
Separate taxes.
Yeah, the county line goes straight down the middle of the mountain.
I know, that's so cool.
It's crazy.
Yep.
So, and straddling that, 1 foot in Sonoma, 1 foot in Napa, it's kind of cool. Yeah. And great wines.
Which did you like better?
The Sonoma side or the Napa side?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could probably better afford the Sonoma side. Okay. So I can't afford either one, but I'll take the Sonoma side.
Okay. Actually, that was our afternoon tasting. Our morning tasting was at The Debate. and we were introduced to the Debate Winery
Yep.
through Leslie and John, some great loyal supporters in New Smyrna Beach. When they mentioned they went to the Debate Winery, and here we have grapes and debates,
Yep.
it was only fitting that we brought some of their wines in, and they are really fantastic.
Yeah.
They
Low
pro-
production.
Low
right?
production.
Boutique.
Yep. And we did a Cab Franc from each one of their individual vineyards, and then we did a cab, so 3 Cab Francs, 3 cabs, and then we did the ultimate, which is the bottle that you have there, and it is
That's-
a combination of
Their Bordeaux blend.
their blend. Well, it's not necessarily a Bordeaux blend. It's their Cab Francs and their cabs all blended.
Okay.
So it's the ultimate debate.
Yeah.
Coming to a SoNapa near you, we are going to do the very same tasting. It was that amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Todd, man, what a great dude that guy was.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, super
We had a great.
knowledgeable.
Yep. Had a great tasting with him.
Yep.
He knows his stuff.
If
He
you like
does.
big red wines, sign up for that
big
one.
red wines. There is no debate about that.
No.
Then the next day we went to Chappellet
Yes.
on the top of Pritchard Hill,
Yep.
Another mountain property, I would call
mountain
it.
property.
Yep.
Yep. And
Vaca
then
Mountains.
after that we went to Inglenook.
Yeah, I thought they were both very cool for different reasons. I mean, we walk into Chappellet, we walk into the lobby. It's this, pyramid sort of building that's just coming out of the top of the mountain. And then Cyril Chappellet walks up in the lobby, introduces
Greets.
himself, and starts talking to us and how appreciative he was that we were there, and really kind of started talking about the state of the industry right now, which we can talk about later. But it was neat to see. He's the oldest brother.
And he
and
runs
he's
the
kind of
operations.
Runs operations.
And so then they were very appreciative of us, and at the same time they let us know they had, after we had booked our tasting, and we had, I think, was it a 10:30 tasting, 10 o'clock tasting?
Yep.
The 10:30 tasting was a group of about 40 or 50 people for the International Food and Wine Society,
Yes.
and they apologized that we might have to be quiet, the other group might be loud, and then they pivoted.
Yeah.
They took us on four-wheelers,
Yep.
2 side-by-sides, further up the mountain of Pritchard Hill,
Yeah.
and we got to witness some of the most spectacular views probably in the valley.
Is that looking down on Lake Hennessy?
Looking down
Down
on
Lake
at that
Hennessy.
property,
Yep.
right?
And then just
You could-
beyond that,
Childs Valley in the distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mount St. Helena.
Mount St. Helena.
Yep.
And they didn't have to do that.
No,
They
No,
read,
they
read
didn't.
they read the room, and we were
Yeah.
perfectly content drinking great wines. But yeah, the other group was getting a little loud just because simply 40 plus people.
sure.
Yeah.
And they pivoted very, very quickly. Annabelle and
Lindsay.
at Chappellet, incredible job. Yeah, threw us in those 4x4s, took us above the fog line to where their big reds are
Yeah.
growing, and
Yeah. Pritchard.
yeah,
Yep.
on Pritchard Hill.
Yep.
And I
And,
think that we had a bottle of Chappellet Pritchard Hill,
Yeah.
drinking it on top of
Yeah.
Pritchard Hill.
I think it was the 2014.
It was a neat experience.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
You're right.
very
It
good.
was
the 20
awesome.
Yeah. Just outstanding.
And I got to tell you that okay. So then after that, then we went to Inglenook, and let's face it, Inglenook is one of the oldest wineries in Napa.
It's the 4th oldest.
It's the 4th oldest winery in Napa. There is so much history there. I thought, and this is just me, I'm just saying, I thought it was a little stuffy, and if we need to attract new people to drink wine, that ain't the way to do it.
Agreed.
Listen,
Yeah.
they have, the wines were good. I wasn't blown away by them, and maybe it was just the whole atmosphere. I don't know.
I geeked out on the history of it a little bit.
Yes.
I thought it was cool. I mean, you're talking about Charles Krug, Robert Mondavi, Inglenook, right? Like those.
Right, and Inglenook is Gustav Niebaum,
BV,
Yeah.
the legends of
the valley.
the valley in this area. But when you walked in it, you looked like you were walking into the legendary. So, again, the history part of it, I geeked out on a little bit, and the name,
Sure.
Inglenook. But yeah, the tasting itself wasn't as dynamic.
Yeah.
And which brings me to another point. We've done several tastings.
Well, then
here.
we also did Priest Ranch. And I think part of doing Priest Ranch, was it not because of the conclave and we have a new pope?
Yeah.
So we did. we could say that,
Yeah,
or
it
we
fell
could
in
say
line.
because Priest Ranch has
Pope
become
from
my.
Chi-Town.
Yes. Yeah. Leo. Pope Leo.
Yep.
I was going to say that Priest Ranch has become one of my favorite day-to-day drinking wines. It's our high-end cab by the glass, and I got to tell you, the wines did not disappoint.
Right.
The wines were good.
Yes.
Again, it was a tasting room in downtown Yountville. Pretty cool. We got to meet one of the sons.
Yep.
Chapman.
The Chapman.
Yep, the
that
Chapman
own it.
family owns
Yep.
Priest Ranch.
Yep. We tasted Somerset, which is I
Yeah.
guess their high end.
And they're in Childs Valley. Their property is.
Their property
Yes.
is in Childs Valley.
1,600 acres.
1,600 acres, 225 under.
Still got a
Vine.
Napa address
Yeah,
in Childs Valley.
sure enough.
Yep.
But I thought that again, we were drinking the cab and it was fantastic. But now, having said that, these are some really impressive names that so we went to Pride Mountain,
Yeah.
we went to Chappellet, we went to Inglenook, we went to The Debate, and we went to Priest Ranch. So we hit 5 pretty
Yeah.
awesome
Well,
wineries
yeah.
or tasting rooms. What stands out the most?
Gosh, I mean, for me, it was Chappellet.
Yep.
Just the overall experience, the way that they could not show us any more of the wine tasting room because
Right.
of the group that they had in there, but getting out to see the property has more of an impact on me than looking at someone's how they've decorated their tasting room. Yes, I understand that's the heart of it all.
Sure.
But literally the lifeblood is out in the fields where we were standing.
Yeah.
Take it a step further. I think it was the personalization, the fact that Cyril Chappellet greeted us
Yes.
at the front door, and I,
Yep.
I didn't catch his last name at first. I'm like, who's
Yeah.
so, and you were in the restroom
Yeah.
at first, so we didn't know necessarily who it was. He was just talking to us, and then we started talking about the state of the wine industry and
Yeah.
how we need to capture younger wine drinkers, and just we had a great conversation. It was just a very organic conversation. That to me meant probably more than anything else we did. Obviously, the wines are fantastic.
Yes.
And then
And then the following day, we bump into him at lunch.
we were
and
having
he
lunch at
stops and
Brasswood.
says hi to us and takes a photo with us, and just the
Yeah.
sweetest, most cordial guy. He's
Right.
like, yeah, I'm just picking up something from the bakery for my
Yeah.
friend. Like,
Yeah.
these guys live here. They're
Yeah.
farmers. They're doing the best they can off the land, and they're concerned about
The
some
state of the
aspect-
industry.
the state of the industry, and he was very open about that. But what they're not going to do, these kind of premier growers, is they're not going to sacrifice their quality
No.
to try to get more juice out on the market.
Nope.
And which some people do.
Right. And they have, I would say it's, again, when you talk about entry, you're talking probably a $50 to $60 bottle. Our cost is right around there,
Yep.
and that's their Mountain Cuvée. And that's kind of their red blend.
Yep.
Then I would say probably the next wine that would really, I'm thinking about for the wine list is the Chappellet, their cab.
Is that the signature?
The signature cab.
Yeah.
The girls seem to like the Chenin Blanc.
Yeah. Listen.
And that Chardonnay,
I thought the Chenin Blanc was neat.
it's something a little different,
Yeah.
for sure.
But it had a unique story to
Right.
that property when the Chappellet family bought there.
Right.
Those vines were on
Yeah.
property, so
Yeah.
they thought that they would keep it true to its
Sure.
its legendary status.
Yeah.
And
So they
grow
said
that.
they'll always grow Chenin Blanc.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought that I think the personalization of meeting Cyril, of Lindsay, Annabelle, taking us on those 4x4s,
Yep.
going up to the top of the
We also met
property.
David, the president.
Dave, the president,
Yeah.
and I couldn't have been more impressed with their hospitality.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how I felt about Chappellet. Obviously, Pride, Jay.
Yeah.
We've known Jay now for many, many years. Just a phenomenal tasting. And if anyone hasn't made it up to the top of, I think it's Spring Mountain.
Yes.
And it is beautiful. It's awesome. Make your way to Pride, and if you can find Pride, get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great time at Paul Hobbs.
Oh, wait, God dang,
afternoon.
I almost forgot. We didn't have any of our prop bottles.
But what a cool house right in the middle of a vineyard.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
I'm sure his buddies stay there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. In the Russian River
Right.
Valley. Yep.
And to have those, you know, Paul Hobbs is known for Chards and Pinot Noirs.
Sure.
But to have a Taux Cologne, Beckstoffer Taux Cologne cab at the end, along with another premier bottling that he does. And that guy was very knowledgeable as well.
Yep. Drew.
Drew, 8 years, 8+ years, but certainly many, many more years in the area. But 8+ years
And
with
again,
Paul Hobbs.
you know, we just did that Paul Hobbs wine dinner.
Yeah.
Harley
Yeah.
Vero came up and hung out with us for a
Yeah.
few days, which was awesome. And I think he played a role in making sure we had an awesome tasting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we started out with 2 estate Chardonnays. Then we went to 2 of the estate Pinot Noirs. And didn't he say that Paul likes to do single
He
vineyards?
focuses,
Yes.
yeah.
Single vineyard.
He does a lot of single block stuff and single vineyard stuff, and is really kind of a proponent of this block says this
Right,
in this
right,
bottle, you know.
right.
Yep.
And and then to drive by Beckstoffer, Taux Cologne, and just, you know.
So how do you
beautiful-
pronounce it?
Taux Cologne.
Okay.
Taux Cologne.
Yep.
Is how I pronounce it.
Yes.
But I think no matter how you pronounce it, they're going to know where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then today, another big day.
So today is actually it's not as big. We're not under a rush for tastings necessarily. We are going to Trefethen, and we're gonna go for their Sin Party. I don't know what the
The acronym?
and acronym is for, but it's the release of their rosé. So we're going to
Okay.
a rosé party. It starts at 12:30. We'll probably get there about 1, and they're going to have, obviously, the release of the rosé. They're going to have samples of all of their wines, food, live music. Yeah,
Sounds like a terrible start.
Sounds horrible.
I know. And that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to be...
I'll struggle through, but
Yeah.
You'll take one for the team.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
So now, having said all that, we could debate a lot of things. We could debate wearing a man purse. A purse. We could...
Is there much of an argument
no debate there.
There's no debate.
There's no debate there.
No.
It's an urban shoulder bag,
Oh, okay.
not a man purse. And even if it was,
Oh,
Yeah.
I own it.
do you have your USB?
My USB.
Urban shoulder bag.
I don't have.
Oh.
No, it's.
I was going to bring
Inside.
that as I was going to bring it as one of the props, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
take it. Okay, so there's no
It's okay.
debate. There's no debate.
Yeah.
If you like wearing a man purse, a merce, wear it. If you don't, don't. You know?
Merce,
yeah.
Merce can be the
Yeah.
code word.
Merce.
Merce is the code word.
Oh, merce is the code word.
Merce. You got to have inside knowledge.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
Merce.
The merce. Okay.
All right. Well, you
What-
can't rosé all day
You can't. Well, you
if you don't
can't.
start in the morning.
Well, I know, but we're
And we are.
We're SB today.
we're SB.
I'm PG. Shocker.
All right. So, insider knowledge. If you say merce,
Merce.
you get a complimentary glass of Joe's favorite wine.
Oh,
EOS
No, step them up.
PG.
Step them up.
No.
Step them
No.
up from the EOS
Nope.
PG.
Nope.
How about any EOS product?
Okay.
all right.
Any,
Open it up a little.
Any EOS.
Open it up. All three locations.
Not everybody adores
The PG.
Okay.
Yes.
like I do.
Okay.
So
That's
give
true.
them options.
Right.
All right.
Give them
And
options.
if you say, so that would be if you say merce.
okay,
You
Gotta say it.
You gotta say
merce.
merce.
Gotta say it.
You gotta
to
say
any
merce.
of the lovely
And you
Foley
get
family
Yeah.
EOS products.
Okay.
one free glass.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, what else? Something's brewing.
No, I'm trying to think
Something's
what's
brewing in there.
anti-merce.
Wallet, man, masculinity. Any
If you say
number?
stud,
Yeah. Yep.
You get the opposite
You get-
of what
yeah.
Joe Bates is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this course of questioning.
No, we're not. We don't want to force you into a corner there.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Now, the real debate. What was the best tasting that we've had so far?
Wow,
with
that's...
all of us together.
I don't know if I had a best tasting. Maybe it was the best tasting wine for me.
Okay.
And it was absolutely the debate, the ultimate. This bottle right here.
Yeah.
This was just pure symphonic notes in a glass.
Symphonic notes in a glass.
They all work together. The fruit, the balance, the acidity. It was a home run.
I cannot debate that. I cannot debate that. The best wine that I had, the ultimate debate. It is the best wine that I have had
Yeah, since we've been tasting together today, this trip.
this trip. Right. And maybe one of the best wines that I've had, period.
Wow. Okay, that's a bold statement. You've gone through a lot of corks.
Yeah.
Is that club only? Is that on direct to consumer only? Can people get it through the website?
It's,
Can we get it in Florida?
we can get it. for
Yes,
you.
we can.
Okay.
So you know all the wines that we have lining the studio?
We do. Yes.
The debate, the first 3-pack that we got is $750. So that's $250 per bottle. And because I didn't know, and we did some research and found out that there is a small distributor, they do a lot of imported wines, but they do represent the debate, and we were able to get it in, and therefore we'll be able to do the debate tastings.
Love that.
Yes.
Great.
So, Joe, what was there a great tasting? Was there a tasting that stood out, or was there a wine at one of the tastings that really?
I'd say the wine at the tasting was the Paul Hobbs cabs. They blew me away. They were really fantastic.
That's right about when your gummy kicked in?
They were drinking a. Ixnay on the Omega. It was right about when it started to wear off, actually. But overall experience was Chappellet. Just top to bottom. Overall experience was Chappellet. And, the hospitality and the wines were fantastic as well.
I did have to change my pants after we got to the top of Pride Mountain with Chris driving.
I'll bring that out of the best of you.
Yeah. So I did that wine tasting with no underwear.
Yeah, looking forward to a great day today.
We're going to have another great day. Guys, taste, toast together.
Always.
Yeah.
And, Seabot, what's an anti-man purse word, code word? Or just...
Oof, I don't know. Where are we going to pull this one from?
They'll get...
Girdle?
That's not anti-man.
No, that's
I mean, it's more womanly.
Spanx.
I guess all you got to do is say anti-merce.
Anti-merce.
Anti-merce for a nice glass of Silverado.
Anti-merce is better
Yeah, we probably should come up with a better name.
than merce.
Yeah, you're right.
We need to.
We'll work on that.
Well, I mean, we got to give them something, right?
We'll edit this out. We gave them a myriad of choices.
Yeah.
Across the EOS portfolio.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Nice job.
Just say merce.
Merce it is. Merce it
Embrace
is.
the merce.
Merce it is.
Embrace the merce.
Ladies and gentlemen, merce it is.
Merce it is. All right. Until afterwards, where we're going to film from the hot tub, still overlooking the vineyard, but from the hot tub.
Nice. All right.
To talk about our adventures at Trefetha.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's get after it. Cheers. All right.
Fuck, I never hit record.
You're a fucker.
He's lying. All right, I'm gonna hop in the shower.
All right. We're leaving in a half hour.
Half hour.